Hello, everyone, and welcome to the second of the doubleheader weekend, the second race of the Crown Royal Truck Series doubleheader weekend here at Pocono. We are ready for the Reese's 300 for another 40 laps in the trucks today. Yesterday's race was very exciting. Jay Jefferson coming out with the victory after a big crash coming out of turn number 2 in the closing laps. Cost a lot of drivers their primary trucks. We got a lot of backups in this field. 22 drivers in their original trucks and the rest of the field in the backups. On pole is Larry Hagan. He had some damage, but they were able to buff out some of the issues with the back there from his incident earlier in the Pocono weekend here. But Hagan will be on pole. Cody Goforth in second. I am once again joined in the booth by Peter.
Well, we saw it last season at Pocono. The first race was a little chaotic. Second race, pretty calm. Same thing at Chicago with the doubleheader. A chaotic first race and a calmer second one. Will it happen? We already got a chaotic one before us in the Hershey 300. This race is yet to be seen, but 40 trucks remain on the grid. Jay Jefferson, obviously the winner last time out, starting all the way back in 22nd. His team last season had a couple trucks up front. This time it is Aj Auto, as well Irving Allison, another strong driver up front. But you got to take a look here. Some drivers not usually up here. Cordell Smith, Alex Fletcher, some of these slower trucks. It's going to be interesting to see how long they can not only stay up front, but if they drop back and cause any problems with some of the faster trucks trying to make up time through this field.
And that's a big thing here for Cordell Smith. Was a bit slower in the race, was involved in a couple spins, but again, they were able to buff out some of the damage to that 6 truck as it was mostly to the sides. However, this is big for a team in just their third start in their career, starting 4th, going to try to at least put themselves up front, try to get some good runs here, possibly come out with maybe a top 20, top 25 or better. In this field. Irving Allison, who had a pretty poor run, he starts in 7th, Colton Yo in 10th, and there is the top 10 drivers right there, lined up with Jay Jefferson, of course, on the who won the race, and is looking to do what Austin Murray and Logan Cloud did at the doubleheaders last season, sweep these races. Eli Bright was the last driver on the lead lap. However, with the heavy front-end damage, TSR decided let's just go to a backup because they would start ahead of all the drivers who DNF'd the race anyway, because they would also go to backups.
We got to take a look at some of the other guys that fell out and could not get that invert. There were about 38 trucks on the racetrack until drivers fell out, mainly from that big wreck. You got Riley Spurley-Tube, Logan Bradley, Alex Peters, Colton Lane, Patrick Smith, some real heavy hitters. Possibly some other contenders, but unlikely. Obviously, they're a bit underrated. But Ethan Head, Aiden Smith, and pole sitter the first race, Brandon Morris, mired back here. So you're going to have to see they're not some of the strongest drivers in the grid, but they obviously have some strong trucks and could get up there. Is their time to win the race? We'll have another 40 laps for them to do it.
Couple other slower trucks in the back. Joseph Strigley, Gatlin Downey, the Harmon Benning Peterson team looking to start and park this race again as they go. But we do have 40 drivers in this grid. It's another 40-lap race. We'll see if it's true, if it lives up to the trends of last season with Jay Jefferson. Could he sweep it, and could we have a cleaner race today? Let's go ahead down trackside for the commands to fire the engines here at the Pocono Raceway.
Drivers, start your engines!
With that, the engines are fired. We are ready here for 40 laps at Pocono. Larry Hagan, Cody Goforth on the front row. Jesse Turner, Cordell Smith in row 2. Peter Onjak, Alex Fletcher, row 3. Irving Allison, Matthew Brown, row 4. Stephen Wallace Jr. and Colton Yo, row 5. This should be an exciting race, especially with drivers in the back of this grid like Jay Jefferson, Alex Vanyako, Austin Johnson in the mid-pack. These guys might have to drive through some drivers on this opening lap to get up to the front.
Yeah, we're going to have to wait and see. And obviously, the point standings did have a bit of a shakeup. Austin Murray, now your points leader in that 91. Alex Vanyako jumping 4 spots up to 3rd. Eli Bright having a really quiet season. He did lose 2 points, but he remains in the top 5 of the standing. That is really good for that team. Jay Jefferson finally into the top 10 in points with that win. Who else has made some big changes? Aiden Smith lost some ground, but he's still in the top 20 in points. Probably a driver a lot of guys wrote off for the season, but proving them wrong, staying in the top 20 of points. And Anderson Reed, Irving Allison trying to make up ground as well after what had been some poor starts to their seasons. Irving, not too good, but Anderson had a good day. in the Hershey's 300.
A lot of these guys that are starting up front didn't have too good a days in the Hershey's 300. A lot of them were able to come from the back, hide behind the crash, and work their way through it, like Colton Yo, Cody Goforth, Max, Cordell Smith, and others. Cordell in that 6, but it's good to see these guys up front. We'll see how well they can hang up, especially with fast trucks and race-winning drivers like Peter Onjak, Irving Allison, Stephen Wallace Jr., Jose Perez on that inside line behind the first few guys. But coming down the front straightaway, 40 laps here at Pocono. We are ready. Hagan and Goforth lead us down. Green flags in the air for 40 more laps at Pocono.
Into turn 1, Hagan's trying to squeeze Goforth just up a little into the track. That's going to leave the bottom open for Jesse Turner, with his team boss right behind him, trying to push to the race lead. Got that fighter pilot design on that 47, but I don't think he'll have enough momentum off that corner, as it looks like Hagan will have it down the long pond straightaway. But Turner fighting hard on the inside. What happens in turn 2? Does Onjak make a look?
Yesterday in the truck race, Onjak was forced 3 wide when Alex Peters dove to the inside and put them all into the wall. Now Onjak tried to make a big move there. Doesn't look like it's going to happen down the short chute, but we head into turn number 3. Again, all 3 corners here, different disciplines of racing, different types of turns, and it looks like Peter Onjak in the 44, he wants that points lead back madly, and now he's going to lead lap number 1 here at Pocono.
Jose Perez started 11th. He's up to 4th. That's a big move out of that 35. Drivers falling back. Stephen Wallace Jr. stuck on the top side. Alex Fletcher as well. Matthew Brown is going to be forced 3 wide back there. He obviously won Daytona, so if he could do it. Look at Kukulon surge up the middle in that 20. Austin Johnson, we are 3 by 3 at Pocono, and this track really narrows up in the second half. I'm a bit concerned about this.
And we've seen the incidents in turn number 2. You can run it 3 wide if you don't dive it in and push up, and it's really hard to even run 2 wide here. It's even hard to run single file here. You see Onjak getting real high through turn number 2. You just got to hit these corners right, and you just got to hit your marks around this course. But a great start so far. Jesse Turner up in 2nd, Jose Perez 3rd. Hagan's maintaining a top 5. Antoine Smith, one of the faster trucks in the race yesterday. He's inside the top 10. You also got Eric Monaco, and look at Alex Vanyako charging through. Eli Bright, we just said he was having a quiet season. He's already inside the top 15.
So good start for Eli Onjak, really pushing away. We've got Jose Perez pressuring Turners. We got 3 wide here. Vanyako getting a bit used up there by the 12 of Cody Smart. Monaco for Smart Motorsports is going to back out on top, reduce that a little bit. Cordell Smith, that's a new team kind of struggling on speed, slipping back, possibly irritating some of these faster trucks. It's really going to depend on who gets through and who doesn't. We have 2 Auto trucks working together just like they are at the front of the field. That would be the 41 and the 84. But at the front, here comes Jose Perez trying to make 2nd, trying to make up time here early.
Perez's career, he has 2 wins in the Crown Royal Truck Series. Both of them have come from him showing up at the end. He was not in front for most of those races. At Chicagoland, he waited for the championship contenders to crash out and was able to capitalize in his first season in the Crown Royal Truck Series. Last year at Las Vegas, he was able to get a late race restart on the number 91 of Logan Cloud and take a victory in the final laps. Now he's up in front, trying to show that he has potential to run up in front all race long. Right now, running in that 3rd position. Shout out to Larry Hagan, though. The Ford Performance truck has not fallen back too far, still maintaining a top 5 run. We're still only 4 laps into this race, but you got guys that started up front like Cordell Smith already dropping outside the top 15, and Colton Yo, who started 10th, is already almost outside of the top 30 with Alex Fletcher.
We talked about this yesterday. The Zachary Racing trucks were all together at the front. Now they're all together, stuck still in the mid-pack. It is early, but they need to work together probably to get themselves back up through the field. Kukulon made that amazing move up the middle, but it only got him so far as you get a lot of fast trucks battling each other and not giving themselves too much to work with on getting up to that top 5.
And Jay Jefferson started this race again from the 22nd position. That's not good when you start on the outside here, especially mid-pack. You don't really have the room to make runs on that outside line through 1 and 2. But he is charging back through the field up inside the top 15. Him and Austin Johnson were the top 2 in the race yesterday, and now they are starting to work their way through the pack. So it's only a matter of time until these faster trucks get on through. So these guys up in front, Jose Perez, Irving Allison, Peter Onjak, Turner, these guys have some competitive equipment. Not too much with the Ford Performance Performance truck in the 76. It's still a little weak. The 16 of Brown can hang up here as well, but these guys got to move before that 48, that 77, the 45, and the 41 all get back up to the front as Larry Hagan's going to throw a big block and a slide job on Turner coming through 3.
Hagan really getting aggressive here, trying to punch his weight, prove that he can do it even in the lower tier equipment. But Turner looking to cross back under into turn 1. Eli Bright possibly throwing it 3 wide back there on Antoine Smith. Cody Goforth doing the best that he can, but 27 not exactly where the Cup car counterpart is for North Border Motorsports. But Bright trying to get past Antoine Smith, really getting off the apex and can't do much with that. But at the front, side by side.
Here comes Irving Allison, wants to get SBR another win on the season. First one came at South Boston a couple weeks back for that 82 team. Put on a dominant performance. Now looking for that second win. Jose Perez a little sideways coming off the corner. And remember, we have not had a repeat winner yet in the trucks this season. It's been 6 races with 6 different winners. Same as in Cup, 9 races with 9 different winners. So right now, Irving Allison trying to get himself into victory lane, get that second win on the season, which could possibly lock him into a chase spot. Irving right now sitting in the 23rd position as he's coming off of a horrible start to the season, trying to move that 82 back to the front. Jose Perez, though, in the 35, also not doing as well, but 12th in points. It's been consistent. It's been quietly consistent for the 35 team. He's trying to put this truck into victory lane today.
And here we go. It is a threesome up front between this 44, 35, and 82. Can Perez do anything? He's not in the draft like Allison has with Onjak, but holding his own there on the bottom. He's going to make the move happen. Will it stick off that corner? I think it just might, but it's going to have to finish off in turn 3 here. 3 wide back there between Jefferson, Spurley, Tube, and others. But we're watching the front, and Perez is going to make it stick into 3. He has the race lead.
These Dodges this season in the Mountain Dew Custom Series, they've had 5 starts to the season with race wins. And now you got Jose Perez up in front, Peter Onjak up in front. You also got Jesse Turner, Stephen Wallace Jr. up in front, Riley Spurley-Tube, Texas Star Racing, Onj Auto, Sauber Racing Team have been really the class of the field this season in all divisions. Right now in the trucks and cup at least, but now Onjak under pressure from the Toyota, the SBR truck of Irving Allison. This top 3 pulling away, but it is a gaggle behind Jesse Turner, Stephen Wallace Jr., and Larry Hagan.
Jesse Turner trying to hold on to his own, as well as Larry Hagan, Cody Goforth, and others have slipped back, but these cars are still up there. Turner had strong equipment, not the strongest driver, trying to prove that he can do it. Bright bounces off the wall, gets into Austin Johnson. But they're going to save it. They're going to save it.
That's good, but Kukulon and Lane onto the apron. That's real close. They were trying to stay off of it, and a great save by everyone there. Zachary DeLello going to get a run off the corner, but man, that was close. Jay Jefferson bounced off with Eli Bright and just Eli Bright and Austin Johnson, and that 48 truck, that could have been his race over right there. Good job by Jefferson to keep that truck under control when he was getting hit in the side by the 8 team. You also got Anderson Reed and Austin Johnson moving back to the front. And look at Roger Ray, one of the quiet prospects from Onj Auto. No wins in the Mountain Dew Custom Series. Graduated up to trucks, but right now doing a great job. Riley Spurley-Tube in this 28. He wants to go out and get another win this season, battling up into the 4th spot with Jesse Turner.
Yeah, Spurley-Tube started all the way back at 25th, so he's probably one of the biggest movers on the day, along with Antoine Smith, because Antoine started 15th, so still almost 10 more spots for Spurley-Tube. Just a real good run. Team boss Jake Jefferson following him up, trying to work there on Cody Smart and Stephen Wallace Jr. But I think when the tires are getting worn like this, you're going to want to have possibly that higher line through 3 carry just a bit more speed, especially off the corner and down this very long front straightaway.
That's important for turn 3. Get a nice big run so you can make that move heading into turn 1, keep in the draft, and make that move. Top 3 starting to pull away. We see usually draft is key. The stronger trucks do have more likely of a chance to get runs and make passes and move up to the front. But we should see this whole pack here from about 4th all the way back. It looks like the 38th Alex Fletcher is real close together. Everyone pretty much battling. So it's nice to see some racing here. We might see it more spread out if we do make it up to that lap 15 to lap 17 fuel window that you saw yesterday. We'll see if these guys will be able to make it that far, but top 3 right now, Perez, Onjak, and Allison are right now the class of the field.
Gonna have to see if that land rush of trucks can catch these top three, but they've kept it organized. Not too much passing up here. We're gonna have to wait and see what happens with that. But Jay Jefferson, I think he has the visor cam today from winning the Hershey's 300. Let's take a lap around the Pocono Raceway. And that time through three, it seemed like the top side didn't really stick for him as Roger Ray got to his inside. It's going to be a drag race down in the corner for this spot. We'll have to see what Jay does, but it's nice to just ride along for a little bit, see what happens, listen to him work the throttle.
It's good to see a driver who won this race yesterday. He knows how to get it done here, and you can just see the masterful work at using the throttle, making sure to block those lines or give people room around you. It's still early on in this race. You don't want to make a bad block into a corner, dive it too fast into a corner, and end up wrecking yourself. You see a couple trucks have gotten to the inside of him, but right there, powered off a turn two. He's going to hold Jesse Turner at bay, as you see in his rear view mirror. Top three right now are pulling away still, but Riley Spurleytube in that 28 truck starting to catch on up. This is one of the underdogs at TSR that no one really thought would be much until this testing session over the off season. He has gotten that Mid-South Automotive Equipment in that number 28 truck, and that truck has won here twice before. He's now looking to put this TSR truck into victory lane as he chases the top guys down in that fourth position. Pit stops are coming up shortly. We're going to go ahead, take a quick commercial break, bring guys back to the action here at the Reese's 300 right after this.
If only there was a place nearby you could get one of these. Or these. Good thing they're sold literally everywhere business is done. I'm pretty sure you could buy them at a bank.
Boy, he ran him down quick. Uh-oh.
Back live here at Pocono, they're spinning. Sebastian Kuklon's in it. Anderson Reed's going around. They're trying to keep it. Brown and DeLello hooked. This could be big heading through three. And Murray, points leader's in it. Priya McShane's in it. The 89, and they're all spinning down here in turn three as they're trying to get through the chaos and confusion. Logan Bradley spun around. You got Priya McShane in it. Fitzwater right into the back of Kev Shearer. And they're still trying to race on through. Caution is out, so this will probably put us to our first round of pit stops. But that is a big mayhem down in turn two. Maybe not as big as what we saw yesterday, but it is pretty big. And a lot of trucks at the back of this field were torn up in it.
Doesn't look like we will be getting green flag pit stops on this first cycle. You saw a bunch of trucks go around. Heavy damage to a couple of them. Fitzwater and Kev Shearer are done once again. Kev's probably not going to be too happy about that, nor will Fitzwater. A bunch of other trucks are likely wounded. Murray, you see that is that one of the Rockstar Energy cars? That would be the 19 Priya McShane, so she's got heavy nose damage. Kuklon went for a ride. Matthew Brown went for a ride. He hit hard into that outside wall, so nice to see him drive away, possibly continue with it in this race. Anderson Reed, Logan Bradley, some other faster trucks involved. We have a big line of cars coming down pit road. A lot of these trucks need their service, and they will do so.
And this does come right just before the fuel window, maybe a lap or two earlier, but still, even if these guys did pit on the fuel window, you wouldn't be able to make it to the end on just one more pit stop. So most likely we'll have one more pit stop in this race after this cycle, but we'll take a look at this one first. Jose Perez, Peter Onjak, Irving Allison, Riley Spurleytube, and Roger Ray was able to sneak that 84 into the top 5 on this opening stint. 15 laps completed there, so this would be the minimum, basically, of the fuel window. Everyone coming on down. 4 tires and fuel's the name of the game. Don't try to do strategy this early. If you're doing strategy, do it on the last round of pit stops. You see at the top of your screen a lot more drivers coming around. Fitzwater and Shearer blowing up. They're going to have to get the speedy dry out for that to clean up any oil that was on the track. But pretty much 4 tires and fuel, the name of the game. Jose Perez we're watching there, but he's going to come on out. Matthew Brown, though, Contact between them, and Perez just slides by, almost into Irving Allison's pit crew, but Spurley comes out second. Ray third. Looks like Allison and Onjak battle for fourth there. Jefferson sixth. Stephen Wallace Jr., Alex Peters into the top 10. Antoine Smith and Jesse Turner look to be the remainder of the top 10 there. A lot of guys down pit roads. Some are going to have to do some repairs. You got Kukulon and Fletcher coming back out. Lane Morris, I know we're in it. So let's go ahead, get a quick replay, see what happened to bring out the first caution of the day here at the Reese's 300.
A lot of angles to analyze, a lot of cameras down in turn 3 at least. Kukulon here in a 2, full sends it in, an absolute kamikaze move, slides it up the hill, into the wall. Austin Johnson doesn't lift himself and spins the 20 down to the inside of the racetrack. He's just going to nick the guardrail, I think, but he will be all right to continue in his Conway Freight Dodge Ram.
Austin Johnson, the other part of this opening incident, gets into Kukulon, comes right back up into Reed, pretty much sends Reed around, and that's going to send Anderson Reed back into the wall. Johnson continues on, but if you're looking further back, Brown gets sent in as well. This further up incident, Lane in the grass, comes back up into Monaco. You see Bradley and Rainey spinning there. That's pretty much the near end of the incident. And Kev Shearer came in with a pretty hard hit to the passenger side. We'll have to take a look at that too. Look at John Dilk sliding through in that 67. We'll have to get an on board with him as well.
Matthew Brown a bit further back from this incident, but he gets some heavy damage here. Spinning in front of him, trying to do the best that he can avoid, but Zachary DeLello is going to come up and get into the back of him after the 16 and 41 connect. They slide through the grass, no control for that 16 into the 91, and the 19 nails the 16 and gets hit in the driver's side. He's going to get it turned around. Cordell Smith with damage there as well. And then you're going to see John Dilks come in. He hit the 17, and Fitzwater was way behind the accident, and that's how he got his damage. I think he just drove it into the side of the 24.
Looking on the roof came a Fitzwater. It's just, he's so far back. He is probably at least a second or two behind the main pack, and this spin's been going on for 10, 20 seconds at this point, and they're still wrecking. That spotter, he needs to be telling his driver where to go and to slow down, because Fitzwater's just coming on in. You see John Dilks ahead. He's going to make it through this, but Fitzwater right into the grass, hits Ethan Head, but then just drives straight into the side of Kev Shearer. That might be quick review there for that team, especially for hitting him in the driver's side, but Fitzy pretty much just had no traction there. Spinning on through, going way too fast. He gets collected up in it.
A bit luckier than Fitzwater would be John Dilks here in the 67 Chiba Toyota. He's going to get a piece of Ethan Head, but watch this save. Got real lucky where everybody else is. Kept that 67 under him. Burn the tires off, but that's what the caution's for. Get 4 fresh ones.
So we're under caution for the first time today here at the Reese's 300. Kukulon into the wall. Johnson bounces off and causes a chain reaction about 20 cars deep here in Pocono's turn number 2 and 3. We will bring you guys back to the action here at the Pocono Raceway right after these words from our sponsors.
Mr. Dumbass, I can bring a lot to Dumbass and Dumbass. I'm a go-getter. Dumbass material all the way. So, am I your man, Mr. Dumbass?
The name is Dumas.
That's pretty thick-headed, but nothing compared to the rich, thick, frosty mug taste of an A&W root beer. With A&W, it's good to be thick-headed.
What a dumbass.
Back live here at the Reese's 300. Jose Perez in the race lead. Riley Spurley second. Roger Ray third. Irving Allison fourth. Peter Onjak sits in the 5th position. We got the field right there. Off of pit stops, Jay Jefferson's up to 6th. Stephen Wallace Jr. 7th. Alex Peters 8th. Jesse Turner 9th. And Alex Vanyako 10th. Rest of the field up here. Daniel Cobson, the 25, up in the top 13. Patrick Smith also in the top 20. Aiden Smith, Colton Yo, and it looks like Austin Johnson will be around that 20th and 21st position.
Well, the first pit stop is down. We're going to need one more after this. So when these guys take service will be probably just after lap number 30. If we get some more cautions, maybe a caution around lap 25, might see some pit strategy. Some guys come in on then. But Jose Perez, Riley Spurlow 2, Roger Ray 3 Dodges, 4 in the top 5 with Onjak in 5th. Going to come on down and take the Reese's 300 back to green flag. Pace truck peels off. Let's get this back going.
Riley Spurley got a pretty good jump there, and he's going to make it. He's going to take that momentum, look to the inside as well. Irving Allison's going to make a move there in the 82, and he's going to push that 28 down into the corner. Battle for the race lead now as Riley Spurley wants to get him to the front. Perez on the outside, nothing really much he could do, but look at Roger Ray power off of turn number 1 there, clearing Irving Allison.
Roger's got that Carson Bowers championship winning equipment under him, so no surprise to see him up here, but Spurley even stronger equipment in that 28, I believe. Clear to the race lead, but Ray looking for second, pushing up a little bit into Perez. Perez probably going to hit the wall, but he keeps it off of it. Good job, Jose.
One driver into the wall further back was Alex Fletcher. That turn 2, that exit is what gets a lot of drivers. You can fly it in, especially after a long straightaway, building up speed, especially in the draft. But it's hard. You got to get on those brakes and make sure that you can make that corner. Jay Jefferson now pushing Irving Allison. This is the battle for 3rd to about 8th right there with Alex Peters at the tail end of that. The mid group of drivers sit in single file. They don't want to lose that top group like they were in that opening stint. But right now, Jefferson in that 48, these guys got to be scared now because here comes JJ.
Working underneath Irving Allison there, the top 2 trying to break away from that land rush of cars behind him. Stephen Walsh Jr., Alex Peters, Alex Vanyako. Vanyako, that's a big run there. Is he going to throw a 3 wide down into 2? He's right on the back bumper of the 45, nearly pushing him into the corner. Just going to lift just a little bit off the throttle, get past his teammate, and then Perez as well. So 2 spots made up for Vanyako, just trying to force it through, and it worked.
Alex Peters, last time we saw him in turn number 2, he crashed the field last race. But again, you got to be working aggressively. You got to be running aggressively in these closing laps. We're still fairly early on, just coming up to halfway. Next time by is Roger Ray in the 84 wants to take the fight to the TSR guys. This is an alliance partnership right here this season between Anjato and TSR, and Roger Ray is trying to throw it in and fight with these TSR dominant drivers in Jefferson and Spurley too. But do not count out the CFRO 95, Stephen Wallace Jr., not part of that Dodge alliance there, but he's still very strong. He has 1 win in the NSDCA in the Mountain Dew Custom Series, looking for that first truck 1 today. Let's see what he can do in this CFRO 98.
Doesn't look like too many trucks in the back are damaged, but up at the front, Jake Jefferson really putting the pressure on to Roger Ray, who's conservative last time through turn 1. Now Jefferson on the attack, down into turn 3. Side by side, 48 and 84. 84 was a TSR number last season with Jake Galloway, but this season it is Roger Ray. So here we come, side by side. Who's going to have it at the line for halfway? Second, we'll go to Roger Ray for now.
Stephen Wallace Jr. checking anywhere he can go. He tried to go all the way to the outside of Ray, but there was just not enough room with the wall up there. Tried to make that 3 wide, but thought against it. Now Alex Peters is going to send it in that 45. This man is aggressive. He's been aggressive all his career, and he makes good moves, and he has the wins to prove it, too, at Auto Club. He's the driver who has won the last 2 Auto Club races, but this 45 team looking to get another win on these big ovals, looking for that 3rd position now on Jefferson, if he can manage to make it stick. But Jay, the difference between yesterday and today, he was not in front this entire time, and he did not have the fast trucks of Alex Vanyako, Alex Peters, Roger Ray, and Riley Spurley to contend with for most of that race when he got out in front. Irving Allison also pretty fast. Eli Bright back inside the top 10, looking at a quick through the field, making sure that we're all clean. Look at Joseph Strigley. Had to replace an engine in that truck over the last night. He had him and his few volunteers around him and his hired pit crew to help him put that truck back together. So he is up right now inside the top 22, looking for a fight with Logan Bradley. Nice to see him there. Anderson Reed has some damage, looking even further back. The 6 truck is at the back as well. He sits last. And we have a few lap trucks out. Antoine Smith out of it. Priya McShane, Austin Murray, Fitzwater, and Kev Shearer have all taken their trucks behind the wall over the run of this race. But up in front, we got 3 Dodges, 1, 2, and 3.
This is real tight here. Jefferson's going to go with the 84. Is he going to make a move 3 wide? It's a bit too early in the race to do that, I'd say. He might wait till turn 1 here, unless Spurley Tube can work that power up top. Is he going to clear back for the race lead? I don't think so, but maybe by the time they get to the line. But no, and here comes Alex Vanyako coming to disturb the party in his number 83.
And Vanyako, the Toyotas have not been the strongest manufacturer this season like they have been in the past few years, as Vanyako's going to throw it 3 wide. Alex has not gotten a win with SBR yet. Last season, he was 9th in points after Chicagoland. The bad thing was there were about 5 drivers fighting for the wild card slots. At the last race, the second of the doubleheader at Chicagoland, he was a threat for the win, but it just slipped out of his grips in the closing laps. This poor 83 team, they haven't won yet, but they are fighting right now, and what better place to be to get your first truck win in front of a home crowd.
Alex Peters really blocking Jose Perez down into 3. That's going to give Roger Ray the momentum, possibly get back underneath Vanyako, but Vanyako really working the top, trying to get that power. Ray real slow on the inside, kind of boxing everybody up. He's going to slide up and get in front of this 98 Stephen Wallace Jr. What happens down in the turn 1? Maybe the grip going out on that 84. We'll have to wait and see.
Up in front, Riley Spurley out in front, Jefferson in second. Arguably, that 28 truck could be better than this 48 on these bigger ovals, but Spurley was mired back in traffic for a good portion of yesterday's race and was not able to contend up front after that incident. He now leads and pulls away from Jefferson, but now Alex Vanyako with a fire lit under him by this PA crowd. He's up right now side by side for that second position with Jefferson as they head into 2.
Can't quite get it though. Jefferson doesn't really have to lift that much on the higher line, that middle line through the tunnel turn. He's got it, set his sights on Spurley. But now, Alex Peters, another big dive out of a 45, and this time it's going to work. Give Alex Peters the spot, and luckily, but I don't think Vanyako's going to be too happy about that one.
Peters, we've seen he was aggressive this whole weekend. He has been, and right now he's showing that speed up in the 3rd position, chasing down now the top 2 TSR guys. Got around Alex Vanyako, but Spurley now being caught by Jefferson. JJ trying, as we said, to continue the doubleheader streak of sweeping both races. Murray did it last season at Pocono. Cloud did it last season at Chicagoland. And now Jefferson trying to do it again here at Pocono. He's side by side with Spurley now as they head into 2.
Driver versus owner. Jefferson walked it up the racetrack just a little bit, but he has the spot. Can he hold it till pit stops? I don't think Spurley's giving up that fight too easily yet. Single file pretty much throughout the rest of the top 10, but Roger Ray making a look on Vanyako. That would be for 4th. I think he's going to make that move done. There's a bunch of other trucks behind him, try to follow through. Stephen Wallace Jr. not too content behind that 84. I think he'll be making a look down into 1.
Give a quick shout out back here. Cody Smart in the top 10 for Rockstar Energy Racing. Actually, just outside of it is Spurley going back after Jefferson. But Bright and Smart, they both, I believe, had to go to backups this race. And now they are both up inside this top 10, fighting their way towards the front. But Riley Spurley going to be the one taking that race lead back away from Jefferson. And now it might be too late for Jay to just go and walk away. You got Alex Peters, Roger Ray, Stephen Wallace Jr., and a hungry pack of drivers right behind him.
Yeah, Cody Smart did start 12th, so he did not need a backup truck, but I don't think he's doing too good in the points. If I can find him, he would be sitting
26th in the point standings.
Thank you, 26th. So yeah, it is definitely a good run for that Rockstar Energy Racing team, who are not having a good season, especially in trucks, because Kev Shearer is 2 spots behind him, in 28th. And as we know, Kev's out of the race once more.
That was my fault there. I confused the 12 truck for the 19 truck of Priya McShane. She had to go to a backup before this race. And again, that truck is also damaged after an incident. Jefferson's going to slide back to the race lead. 13 laps to go next time by, meaning the fuel window's open. The fuel window is open right now. The question is anyone foolish enough or crazy enough? As Colton Lane is slow on the bottom. Engine failure on the number 60 truck. There's no smoke coming out of it, so it might have just shut off on him. That is heartbreak for the Monster Motorsports team. But as we said, if there are no cautions, will anyone try to stretch it those like 20, 22 laps? I mean, the 15 to 17 fuel window is an estimate of what we've seen in the past and what we've seen at Pocono, but teams can always bring up some weird old strategies to try to get themselves to last a long time, and especially drivers at the back. Irving Allison's coming on in, so I think with 13 to go, if he's coming on in, probably everyone's going to come on in, but we might see some guys at the back trying really desperately to make something happen, maybe on strategy.
If I'm not mistaken, we saw that last season here. Some guys pit toward the back of this field, and then there was a caution late in one of these Pocono races, and it brought them all up to the front, although Austin Murray ended up passing them all. that's probably why some of the stronger trucks are trying it. But if they can, stay on the lead lap and time a caution, why not? Take that risk.
Especially if you're guys in this field like Alex Peters, like well, just like race winners who are up in front, maybe not able to contend for the regular season title, but you have a race win, you could fall back on a wild card. Even these guys further back, Logan Bradley, Maxwell Fye, Cody Goforth, Strigley, and Yo even. Yo is fighting in the top group for points, but really this 02 truck's not been that fast. It's been more on strategy and being at a short track that he's really been able to move that truck up in points when he's not in the 21. But guys like Joseph Strigley, we've seen it before with Strigley, and you see the 60 team is trying to repair whatever went wrong with the engine. But we've seen Strigley in the past in the Cup Series play some mega strategy to try to get himself some TV time as well as a possible race win. Could he translate that to a truck race, possibly get himself up front as Alex Peters now in the 45, a tire down on the 45 truck of Peters.
3 wide there between Patrick Smith, Zachary DeLello, and Jesse Turner. Let's watch this into the corner. Turner's going to back out of it. But Patrick Smith tried some strategy and race number 1, and that definitely did not work out as he got wiped out in the big crash. But Maxwell Fye bouncing off the walls. We look back to the front. Daniel Cobb's into the top 10 now. But Jay Jefferson out front over the top 5, all Dodges now, and it seems like nobody else is coming on in just quite yet.
And as you know, you can't stretch it. There's Colton Yo, he's coming on in. Aiden Smith coming on in. Larry Hagan coming on in. Peters has to come on in. He has a flat tire. Matthew Brown looks like they're coming on in too. But yeah, Irving Allison and Eli Bright have both come in this race. They are up in front. The thing here, this is where you probably want to push your tires as much as you can so that you can open a gap on Jefferson. And remember the race yesterday. Before that caution, Alex Vanyako pitted before Jefferson and had a 4-second advantage after that in that event. And right now, we're going to see, coming around to 10 laps to go, Jefferson looks like he's diving on in.
Irving Allison's going to be probably the driver to watch into this, but he's probably going to have a large advantage, but he's going to have so many more laps on his tires. We're going to have to see if it works. That was real close there between Stephen Wallace Jr. Perez. The TSR trucks are in. Along with that will be, I believe that's Kukulon in the 20 coming in. Cody Goforth looks like he's peeling off as well as Bradley, Fye, Austin Johnson, Reed, Strigley, and others.
Looks like that back half of guys coming on in now. There's Alex Peters. Heartbreak 3 wide into the corner. It's very hard to get back on track here, especially with the blend line basically heading into turn 1, so you got to try to just keep it to the bottom. Right now, it's Roger Ray out in front. Jose Perez, Stephen Wallace Jr. stayed out, as well as Alex Banyako, Cody Smart, Peter Onjak, Daniel Kobza, who could play some big strategy. DeLello, Smith, Turner, all the ones that stayed out. Everyone else is on pit road. And now we'll have to wait and see what will the strategies give. Peter Onjak really working those tires high. But here we go. Coming around. It'll be 9 laps to go this time by. You're able to make it to the end on this. And it looks like everyone else that was stayed out on track is going to come on in this time by. And that it is Smart coming on in. Onjak, Cobbs, and yeah, that is the rest of the field on in. So now there's Colton Lane, but Jay Jefferson out in front, or would be out in front.
So it didn't seem like it worked out too well for Irving Allison. He's going to be on the older tires, sitting back there, probably about like, I don't know, 2 seconds off, I believe. But Spurley Tube, that's not going to help him any as he hits the wall off of 2 colder tires, not working after that 28. Needed to warm him up a little bit, kind of getting off a pit road. Didn't seem like Spurley did that. Threw a little bit too much speed into the tunnel turn.
He's got 9 to go, and he has to try to catch team boss Jay Jefferson out in front. Irving Allison now going to look to the inside of Spurley Tube. Now this is what we got to look at, and there's no way Roger Ray is not going to beat Jefferson out. There's Lane, and here comes Jefferson right there. That's going to be Jefferson up there, but Irving Allison, Spurley Tube, they got to watch these guys coming back off of pit road. The good thing is they keep it to the bottom, and it's a wide turn 1. If turn 1 was like turn 2, we'd probably have a lot of incidents coming off of pit road, but you got a lot of guys cycling back out. We'll get a quick update after this, after everyone does get back up to speed, but Jay Jefferson out in front now has Ray, Allison, and Spurley Tube, the 4 that will be chasing him.
And I think Jefferson's going to like that sight. They're going to have 3 trucks battling it out for second, and Jefferson's going to have nothing. And soon, probably in half a lap, he's going to have a lap truck as a pick as well. So there's going to be even more distance between him and the rest of this field.
That depends on if Jefferson isn't slowed up by him coming off the corner. Came a little too late for a move on that 60, but still, he has a big margin over the rest of the grid. As they come down the front straightaway, the ticker will update. It looks like Jefferson in the lead. Irving Allison will be second. Yes, Spurley third, Ray fourth, Eli Bright up to fifth. A great run there. Jose Perez was up front this race. He's fallen back on pit stops. He sits sixth. Alex Vanyako seventh, Kukul on eighth, Stephen Wallace Jr. ninth. And look at that. Give a shout out to Daniel Cobbs and the KGM team. This 25 truck has played strategy with Carson Bowers at Auto Club, almost won that race, and now he's sitting solidly inside the top 10 right now in the 10th position, chasing down Stephen Wallace Jr., but he has a hungry pack of trucks behind him.
Yeah, looking behind him, you'd have, I believe that is Cody Smart in the 12, Patrick Smith, Zachary DeLello with some damage, and Cody Goforth, who started outside pole on today. Austin Johnson further back as well. Jesse Turner couldn't do much with an invert, but probably going to get a top 20, along with team boss Peter Onjak. Then we looked at some of the damaged or slower trucks. Srigley, Yo, Bradley, Reed. Further on back, Maxwell Phi and others. Alex Fletcher's just trucking around. Alex Peters mired in the back. Obviously, probably had to get some cording possibly out of the wheel well from his tire failure. Further on back, you have the 68, 67, and 76. So Hagan couldn't do much with an invert, but got a ton of TV time for FPR. Matthew Brown had a bunch of damage. Ethan Head has damage. Brandon Morris, I think, has damage. Luke Rainey, you see, no hood. That ain't helping him. And Cordell Smith doing the best he can with no hood as well. Eric Monaco must have had more damage than I thought from that earlier wreck to see him further back here. And then I think, yep, Jay Jefferson has extended his lead further, as I think some of these guys may have had a little bit of trouble with Colton Lane. They're probably going to be about 3 seconds back by the time they get to the line. And it is side by side. Roger Ray, Irving Allison coming off at 3.
And with the laps closing out, 6 to go. Again, Truck Series, not like the Cup Series. No green-white checkered you can fall back on and hope that possibly Jefferson could be caught with a late caution. That caution would have to come out probably within the next 2 laps for these guys to catch back up. But as we said, the second race of a doubleheader, usually the calmer one, and right now we have a nice green flag run to the end after that early caution. Had some pit stops. These teams, of course, had to work their pit crews to make sure they could get all that speed and get that consistency out for those teams. Roger Ray still trying after Irving Allison for third, and Ray up here is the only driver in this top 4 that has not had a win this season. Eli Bright, who just pancaked the wall back there, he also doesn't have a win this season, but Roger Ray and that 84 team trying to get as many points as they can. It might be unlikely for them to win a race this season because Ray still has no victories in the National Series competition. But again, this is the 25 equipment that Carson Bowers won a championship with last year, and he's showing if he doesn't get a win this season, he definitely is a very strong driver, as he's showing today, right now running in the 3rd position for that 84 team.
Even if he doesn't have a win coming into today, he was 6th in points, and I know he's going to be gaining on Austin Murray, Peter Onjak, and Colton Yo, Banyako, and Bright. He's going to gain on them, but not a whole lot. So it's still going to be a very good performance out of the sort of rookie, because he's run more than 10 Crown Royal Truck Series races. This is his first full-time campaign. And it's the back end's getting a little loose, almost stepping out from him there in the tunnel turn, but it's gotten him past Irving Allison and Riley Spurley too. He's up to 2nd. Will he have time to catch 4 seconds on Jay Jefferson? Probably not. And I think we might be just past the caution lap at this line. So Jefferson hoping to be home free.
And Jay just a couple laps away from completing being the 3rd driver in these double headers to win both races. But now you just got to remember the 48 team has been struck with bad luck this season. There's been crashes, there's been mechanical failures, and TSR still isn't the most reliable. So you know you have a 4-second lead. He's probably driving it pretty hard, but you know you still got to nurse some of that equipment just to make sure you bring it home in one piece. He has a very big margin with laps closing down. Those back 3 have to push if they want to try to win this race. That'll cause them into mistakes. Jay just has to hit his marks, and he is home free. As well, he got the battle for 5th. Sebastian Kukul on Alex Banyako. Jose Perez, Stephen Wallace Jr. all chasing down Eli Bright under that blanket. And the battle for top 10 continues. This 25 team trying to get up there. You also got the 94, Patrick Smith. The strategy didn't work out yesterday, but right now he's inside the top 12. A great run for CFRO today, especially after a poor performance yesterday after that big one And you still got to give a shout out. Cody Goforth has maintained himself up front. Jesse Turner in the top 20 as well. Joseph Strigley trying to fight Colton Yo for that top 20. He wants some of those upgrade points badly, and right now he's chasing Yo for that final position that awards them. Alex Peters at the back as well. Heartbreak there. Eric Monaco's getting past Cordell Smith, but that's pretty much it. Jefferson has a big margin over the rest of the field, 4 seconds. He still has a lot of time still to catch that 6 truck, but coming around, there's going to be 2 to go this time by.
I want to give some credit, give some attention to Sebastian Kuklon. That truck took a ride through the grass, and he's gathered itself back together and put it up here to a top 10. I think the Conway Freight boys will be happy about that, to see his 20 up here, as well as Peter Sauber, the owner of that team. And now, if he could possibly get past some of these guys, he could be in the running for a top 5 here. But it's a couple laps left. We'll have to see if he can do it. Jefferson put just a couple more tenths on Roger Ray, and I think 48 home free, possibly, but you can never count out anything in the NSDCA.
Remember last season, Austin Murray did win one of his races with a 5-second advantage. Maybe that's why Jay's continuing to push. He wants to break that record there too. Cobbs are now starting to drop back. The battle's basically happening here from about 5th to 9th, and then back from 10th to about 15th there, I believe is where Cody Goforth is. You got the battle for that top 20, trying to get some equipment upgrades there as the 8 slides up, the 83 slides up. These guys are pushing it for these top 5 positions. Patrick Smith has put that 94 into the top 10. I told you in preseason testing, watch that guy in these top series divisions. But coming around, it's going to be the white flag. 1 truck's on pit road. That's the 6 of Cordell Smith. So it looks like they're just getting that car back onto pit road. Might be an issue there, but it's 1 lap to go for Jay.
48 team, one of the original drivers in the NSDCA, almost the first champion, lost it by a point. Almost a Crown Royal Truck Series champion last season, but now I don't know if anybody has ever doubted his talents. He's been one of the best drivers, especially in the past few seasons, and it's almost going to be the question of Diego Yepes or Jay Jefferson, who's going to be better at the end of their careers. Coming down, little wiggle, just trying to get himself gathered up. I'm sure he'll be emotional about this one. Back-to-back double-header victories coming off at turn 3. The 48 home free.
Coming across the line, Jay Jefferson going to be the 3rd time the doubleheaders are swept by a driver. Jay Jefferson wins it at Pocono. Ray is going to come home 2nd. Spurleytube hit the wall coming off at 2. He's going to lose 3rd to Irving Allison. Spurleytube 4th. Vanyako takes 5th. Perez, Wallace Jr., Kukulon, Bright, and Patrick Smith, your top 10. And the battle for that 20th position, Joseph Strigley is going to get himself into the top 20, fighting that team to get himself some points. And that is great to see that 63 team come across the line. 6 team had some damage at the end, and the rest of the field coming on by. Matthew Brown trying to throw a slide job on Luke Rainey back here between some of the damaged trucks. It looks like Brown's going to take that. Monaco, the last truck on the lead lap. But Jay Jefferson, a dominant performance at both Pocono races. This time you couldn't doubt him, from 22nd to the race lead, and held on after pit stops to win. A fantastic drive for Jay.
First winner to win multiple races this season in the Crown Royal Truck Series as well for that 48 team. Bunch of Dodges. Dodge top 4. You got 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th. So Alex Vanyako, the lone Toyota in a full Dodge Ram top 10. Wow.
Don't count out Irving Allison. He finished in the 3rd position at 82.
Sorry, Irving.
But yeah, we had Dodges, and you just got to know, Ford, you see, with DeLello and Rockstar Energy Racing, those are pretty much the only 2 Fords. Toyota is all SBR at this point, with Irving Allison, and a great top 5 for him in that 82 truck, and Alex Vanyako comes out. But Dodge is the king of the NSDCA right now, and it's been the king for a lot of seasons. It has a lot of champions. The only repeat champion in the NSDCA, Diego Yepes, may be the GOAT, but Carson Bowers has the championships on him. He just does not have the wins and consistency on Yepes. But speaking of Carson Bowers, he will be starting as one of the 35 starters for the Xfinity Pennsylvania 500 that'll come up tomorrow for the Cup Series. That is sure to be exciting, as this doubleheader weekend was. Pocono, a fan-favored venue, always sold out when it comes to the NSDCA's home state, and it does not disappoint. We had a great race today, and Jefferson winning it in a dominant performance.
I'm not sure what else to say. We've seen, well, I guess you can say trends never lie. This was definitely a much calmer race than race 1, but Jay Jefferson brings it on home. 5 seconds, 5.17 seconds. Did that beat the record of Austin Murray? Gonna have to go to the statisticians for that, but a good doubleheader once again at Pocono. This track provides some great racing. Some of the heartlands, the NSDCA fans just love this track and produced yet another strong race.
Good 40 laps, and now we look at Chicagoland as the next doubleheader, and the first one, the last 2 races before we head into the chase. What you're thinking there now, win that first race, you could be guaranteed a second victory if you can repeat at Chicagoland as well. We've had doubleheaders. This is the second season of the doubleheaders, the third doubleheader weekend, and 3 in a row we've had repeat winners. Just goes to show that the strong trucks and strong drivers always get to the top when you run the races and have that extra practice time to get themselves more opportunities to learn about this racetrack. But Jay Jefferson comes home with the victory, a dominant performance, 5.17. We had a lot of drivers finish a nice clean race in comparison to the Hershey's 300, which is nice for those team owners. But Jay Jefferson gets to burn it down twice. That 48 team's going to celebrate. The curse has to be over. They got the win at Richmond to complete their triple crown at Richmond in the Cup Series there. And now he has 2 Pocono race wins, the first repeat winner in the Cup and Trucks. And this season he has 3 wins in combined series, the most out of anyone. Congratulations to Jay Jefferson, Roger Ray, Irving Allison, Riley Spurleytube, and Alex Vanyako. Your top 5, and Dodge is just dominant this year. It's going to be hard to stop him. We thank you guys so much for tuning in to these 80 laps that have ran for the trucks this weekend in the 2 doubleheader races. It'll be another 60 laps for the Cup Series tomorrow. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you guys next time on the NSCA.